You went to Maine South, as you said earlier. Do you think this high school was good for you to go to in the end?
Yeah, I think Maine South is very, very similar to Alliance Township LT. They're both very large schools. Um, my class had 1,000 kids in it, so as LT is 36 to 4,000 students. It was Maine South as LT it prepared me very well with the right classes to be able to go on to higher education. And Maine South also had a lot of diversity in classes as LT does here as well for you. The big difference, of course, is the technology. Back when I was going to high school, we didn't have computers, we didn't have all the electronic devices that you guys have today.
So, going to a large school, how were your grades?
My grades were good. I took some accelerated classes, some advanced classes. Personally, I think my strengths were in the more math and analytical studies. So I got A's and B's in that, and I must admit I wasn't the greatest Spanish student, so I struggled through with the C in Spanish. But my grades were good, and they were good enough to get me into Marquette, the school that I really wanted to go to.
Speaking of school, you ended up going to Marquette. When you went to Marquette, did you know what you wanted to be in life?
No. So I knew I wanted to be in business. I knew I had a strength in numbers. I was always very good with numbers and still am today. But when you're 18, 19 years old, it's very difficult to really know what you want to do for the rest of your life. So while I was at Marquette, I was actually a marketing major, so marketing sales. And after I graduated from Marquette, I really discovered that wasn't the profession for my full-time career. So Marquette gave me the basis of an education where I was able to utilize my other skills, such as my math and analytical skills in a banking field, which I'm in today.
What made you feel that Marquette was the right pick for you? Did anyone inspire you to go there?
Yeah, it's I laugh a little bit because my father, my mother, my uncles, my aunts all lived in Milwaukee, and just about everyone in my father's family went to Marquette. So when I was growing up as a kid, my older sister went to Marquette and my two older brothers. So when I was 8 years old, pretty much I was thinking Marquette. When I went to high school, pretty much Marquette. I did apply to other schools, but I pretty much knew that Marquette was the right school for me.
After college, after you graduated 4 years later, what was your first job?
Oh, my first job after college, my first real job, was a sales job. And I worked for Hamilton Beach Scoville, selling their small electrical appliances like blenders. I was based in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I was 22 years old, graduated from college, and then I moved to Ohio, and I sold small electrical appliances in southern Ohio and also the state of Indiana. So I traveled a lot as a young man.
Nowadays, you currently work for Northern Trust Bank. How did you end up there?
Good question. Actually, so I was living in Ohio. I was actually dating your mother, and we decided we got married after about a year that I was in Ohio, and Mom moved down to Cincinnati, and her family's also from Park Ridge, so we've had very family ties to Chicago. So as we were living in Ohio, both your mom and I wanted to get back to Chicago. So I had a good friend who I went to grade school with. He was also on that basketball team that I mentioned that won all those games. He worked for Northern Trust Company. He was a graduate of Notre Dame, so he worked for Northern Trust, and he helped me get an interview with Northern Trust in 1984. In fact, this year I'm celebrating my 25th anniversary with the bank. And I interviewed with Northern. I loved the company when I was hired and have been there ever since.